Hello and good morning, everyone. We know that it is not necessarily morning for you, but it is definitely morning for us. Folks, can I get a time check from you?
It is currently 4:50 a.m.
It is 4:50 a.m. The Dungeon Boys are descending into the dungeon. It's 78 degrees and only getting a little bit warmer here in the studio, but we're dealing with it. We've changed our camera up a little bit this time if you're watching on YouTube, so enjoy that new angle. Again, not the ideal multi-million-dollar setup we got here, but we make do. But this is our first recorded with the intention of being a podcast episode. So yeah, congratulations everyone. Hopefully by this time iTunes has approved us and we got people listening on iOS devices everywhere. So with that being the case, this is a podcast now. What is going to be really helpful for us if you do enjoy the show, this is episode 8 now, so hopefully you listened to some things, you're into it. If you're all the way here, it would be really helpful if you left us a review on iTunes. Even if you're watching through the YouTube, head on over to iTunes and drop us a review if you like the show, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. That'll really help us out. We feel as though the podcast will be an easier medium for us, so you don't have to keep that YouTube app open to listen to us play Dungeons and Dragons. You guys got anything on this topic down there?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Getting ready.
I
gotta suck down my caffeine.
Getting ready. I haven't had any caffeine this morning yet. You probably might need it. But yeah, we really appreciate that. Also, I think it's time that I started mentioning we do have a Patreon page. I'm not begging for money. It's not like we're trying to make a salary off of this situation. But if you like Dungeon Boys, if you like Tank Media Network in general, and you want to support us and try to help us make what we make a little bit better, feel free to go to patreon.com/Tank Media Network. Check out our goals, check out our tiers, and if you feel like dropping $1 our way, feel free.
Help to buy us breakfast. So far, we've only ever heard about it.
Pictures of us crying. Please.
Whenever you click on our Patreon page, the Arms of the Angel song just plays immediately. There's a picture of Brice and Zenas both in the same cage, just sadly looking out.
For only 73 cents a day.
Yeah.
I'll stop spraying this poor dog with a water hose before filming these commercials.
Right. All right, boys, let's get down to Dungeons & Dragons. We've had enough introductions. It's time.
I will apologize in advance because Arlo's voice is a little bit off today because I'm dealing with what is known as allergies and sinuses.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, we've got some allergy issues down the line. So if you hear hacks, if you hear coughs, if you hear wheezes, we're all right. Everything's okay.
Just moderately all right.
Yeah. Bryce, I'm gonna need you to stop doing that. I'm gonna from now until the end of the episode, I'd like to limit it to unintentional noise making when it comes to the sinus holes. Last week on let's bring it in. Last week on Dungeon Boys, I feel like the whole episode really took place in the LID, I believe. I can't remember exactly where I think the episode before that ended, you went to sleep. You guys woke up and you went into Director Bach, the director of the LID. You went into his office and he kind of vetted you a little bit. He asked how you felt about the current state of the world. He asked you several questions, which your answers gave him reason enough to let you in on a little secret, and that is that he's not only the director of the LID, but also kind of a recruiter for this shadow organization called the Servants of the Scale, which is an organization started by a family that he's very close friends with that is intending to do their best to fight against the High Council, to fight against the atrocities and the chaos that they're sowing into the world, to truly be a servant of the scale and try to restore balance that the council seems to be intentionally trying to distort with their cullings and what seems to be their the even possible genocide of those people of the lower class and non-magical members of society. So
the general badness.
Yeah, the general badness. It is a servant of keeping the world balanced and trying to regain peace in the world. And so you guys joined up. He said, do you want to join? Do you want to help us do that? and you guys having your different motivations to be good, you joined up with him, and you're all now servants of the scale, denoted by a symbol that was hammered into the back of your LID badges, because you were still your rookie detective selves, but there's a symbol on the back of your badges now to denote you as also servants of the scale.
Hammered with a knee.
Yes, there's a little metal piece underneath Corgus's desk that he just hammers your thing into with his knee. I think he was asked if it hurt, if he ever hurt himself on that before. So you joined up, but he said it's not so easy. I can't give you all the information. I'm dumping a lot of info on you now, but I can't let you into the complete inner circle yet. You have to test you. And normally I'll send somebody. He sends somebody on a fetch quest. Sometimes he just gives them a hard task to do to see if they're really into this thing. But sadly, this time there's more of a task to be done because the people that are the founders of the founding kind of family, the founding couple of the servants, the SOS as it's so lovingly called, he suspects that they've been kidnapped by the constable of Lonesome, the governor, if you will. He suspects that the council or someone has gotten wind that they're in on this organization that keeps causing them trouble, and he's afraid that they have been captured and are being held captive by the constable. So you have that information. He said, "I'm very sorry to put this on you, but I need you to try to rescue them. I can't do it myself and blow my cover. I need someone to do it for me, and we're kind of spread thin as it is, so I need you guys to help me do that," and you agreed.
We did that.
You left the LID.
Did he tell us the constable's name?
The constable's name, which you know from being in the city, the constable's name is Ronald Witherbranch.
Ronald Witherbranch, yeah.
Ronald.
He's the brother of one of the council members.
Okay, then yeah, he did tell you. He did. Yeah. Ronald, it's interesting. It's funny because Ronald Witherbranch is the constable of Lonesome. His brother is on the High Council, and his name is Donald Witherbranch. Which is Ronald and Donald. But yes, you know that to be the constable's name. And so you guys went outside. You said you wanted to go shopping. You wanted to, because Corgus said that he didn't see the constable as a sadistic executor. He didn't think that he's worried about them dying so much as them being questioned and held captive for a great amount of time until a High Council emissary comes and tries to figure out what to do with them. They could be in very real danger sometime soon, but he doesn't think that it is hours until their demise or something. So he said, you guys have time, make your preparations, figure out what you want to do, but I need you to rescue them.
So this is going to be like an action movie kind of montage where like we're grabbing the bazooka off the top shelf. Yeah. Bandolier, bullets, some grenades.
Well, I picture it like
Teddy
the scene in Pulp Fiction. If you've seen Pulp Fiction. No? Yes? Have we seen Pulp Fiction?
Only that one scene.
Okay. Well, there's a scene where Bruce Willis was kidnapped with kind of an enemy of his, but the enemy is getting... there's bad things happening to him downstairs, and Bruce Willis, they're in the bottom of a pawn shop, and he comes up. And so Bruce Willis is going to leave, but then he's like, no, I can't leave my dude behind. And then he goes through the pawn shop, each finding a weapon, like swinging it around, looking at it, and then finding a better one, and he eventually ends up with a katana that he goes back downstairs. So I picture you guys like you're picking up weapons, you're looking at them, investigating them, and then you put them back for another one.
Checking out the tag.
But we're going to get started playing this daggum game. Sorry for all that recap. I feel like it's important that people know what we're doing, especially because this is our first real podcast episode. So you guys are in the city square. You can hear the hustle and bustle of the inner marketplace where the wealthy people shop, and that's what you hear. You know that the inner circle. You can see the grounds of the manor where the constable lives. It's a whole city block. The manor doesn't take up a city block, but his grounds and the greenery and the trees, and there's a pond in there, and it's a gated situation, but it's a pretty big grassy area around his manor. But the inner marketplace is off to the left of that, and it kind of goes down a street where you can hear the selling of goods and the calling out of people and just general loudness. Let me see if anything's gonna happen to you here.
Oh boy.
So you guys are coming out of the Lonesome Investigator Department. You're in the city square. What's going on? Are you there's a big info dump that's just happened. Like, you guys are now even more have even more in common. Is there any conversation that's happening as you walk into the city square? Is anything going on like that?
Not about that.
Okay.
Grim has made his peace with that. He does not. Yeah, well, he doesn't dwell on things, or he just like accepts them as they are quickly. I suppose is a good way to say it. So he's like, this is the situation now. He's already decided what he's going to do, so he doesn't feel the need to talk.
Just
about it.
didn't know if you guys want to do some group processing. I mean, obviously, certainly Zenas and Grim's opinion doesn't go for the rest of the party. So if that's everybody, that's everybody. I just want to give y'all an opportunity.
I probably would, but outside of the game, I have not been playing as my character until right now. Just the recap is not enough for me to be able to like speak as my character.
Okay.
I kind of got to get back into it.
All right. Well, I'll force you into it. As you're walking, Arlo, you got anything? As you waddle?
With my voice being as such, I'm gonna go at a slow idle.
Okay.
But I will say that just Arlo as a character, he's just kind of taking in all sides of stuff. He's not used to like the big markets and stuff like that.
It's a lot to process going on.
It is. So he's just kind of like, wow, what's going on?
I mean, yeah, and it's the city is congested. I mean, it is. We are midday. It's a big market day. Every day is a big market day in the marketplace. There are wealthy people to and fro. There are throngs of people moving throughout the city streets. It's not like you got to have the street to yourself. Like, there are people everywhere. You're bumping into folks. You're kind of pushing your way through the street. I mean, it's not like you can't breathe, but there's definitely a crowd of people that you're working through.
Yeah, Arlo doesn't feel 100% comfortable in this situation, so I don't think it would be a time for like idle chit chat.
Okay, absolutely. All right, so you guys are walking. Yep.
Jack does seem happy just to be like in the kind of area, since he was the former butcher.
Yeah.
And he just enjoys the kind of ambiance of
city life.
Yeah.
Okay, so he kind of got a spring in his step. Also, please forgive us for the Mack trucks that pass by seemingly every single moment.
And at great speed.
At a great speed. If you hear the sound of crashing metal and wood, that is because a Mack truck has come through the wall and we are all dead. So call the police. So you guys are pushing.
After we post this.
You guys are pushing through the crowd, and as you do, up ahead before you see the crowd kind of getting spread apart. Right in front of you, kind of coming toward you, the crowd is they're spreading apart, and people are. You can hear like the "ooh, excuse me." And those kind of things that happen when someone is kind of pushing through the crowd quickly. And just as it splits right in front of you, what's your order? How are you walking? You got walking single file? Is there a marching order?
Arlo's kind of hanging to the back.
Okay.
Well, Grim would have been by Arlo.
Okay.
I'm up front.
Perfect.
Enjoying all the sights.
So, Jack, what you feel is as the crowd splits in front of you, you see, as it splits, three tall, grimy-looking orcs that kind of bump into you. They're moving through the crowd, and they kind of bump directly into you. Instead of going around you and pushing you aside like they had been everyone else, they stop because they notice that you're coming. That they notice that you're coming out of the LID building, and they notice your badges, and they stop. And these orcs are kind of typical army orcs. They look like they may have just come out from the field. They've got kind of blood caked onto their clothing. Their axes and blades they haven't been cleaned. They're kind of rusty and caked with blood, and some of them have some kind of blood stains on their face. They just like look like kind of war-torn orcs, but they also are wearing the garb of the Continental Army. You know that they're not like rogue orcs or anything. They are army soldiers that are part of this army that the High Council commands. And they bump into you and say, the one in front says, "Oh, just some folks we were looking for. We need to ask you some questions, fellows."
I move my hand to my knife.
Okay. How visibly?
It'd be under my cloak, so it'd just be like off kind of to his side.
We've got some questions for you. We don't mean to alarm you. We are looking for a friend of ours. We were stationed here recently. We got into town in the last week or so, and we're doing our thing in town before we go out to the up to the barn where we're stationed now. We've been in the city for about a week, and one of our one of our mates is missing. We don't know where he is, and you look like investigators in this city. Have you heard tell of an orc gone missing?
Hadn't heard of it.
As the guy speaking, Grim steps up to be beside Jack.
Okay. What's interesting about Jack is if you're just jumping in with us, part of his backstory is that he is a butcher, and his wife was lost her life at the hands of a culling where the orcs, the Continental Army, came and they were trying to take his wife away, or something happened, and his wife died. And so now part of Jack's alter ego is that he captures orcs and tortures them. It's not a frequent every night thing. It's happened, I think we decided, like maybe 4 or 5 times in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But it has happened because he mentions this, and Jack, if you weren't always thinking about it, you do remember that. You remember the orc that you captured and killed in the city of Lonesome before all the campaign had begun, as he mentions this. And you can't help but think that this is exactly what they're talking about. And so Grim steps up. But Grim, you don't know this about Jack.
Neither one of us knows.
Yeah, nobody knows this about Jack.
We haven't discussed anything about each other.
Yeah, so as he's standing there, he says, "So, is there a war? Are you looking for him, or I'll tell you his name. His name is Turok."
I do not know that name, nor have I seen the orc you are describing.
Yeah, we hadn't seen too many orcs around town, so.
But
has it been? Would we have heard about this?
You haven't heard about this.
Okay.
You haven't heard about a missing
Then
orc.
Grim would say, "No, we have not heard anything about a missing orc, my friend."
Are you sure? He's been gone for a while. We're a little bit. We're concerned because if we make it up to the barn without all of our crew, we're going to get the whip. So we want Turok to come with us. Otherwise, we'll get the whip when we get up there. You with the mask on. I can barely hear you. Will you take your mask off?
Absolutely not.
Oh, so that's how it's going to be, eh?
Also, his mouth is exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But you do have something covering your face. It says
Indirect sound.
Well, I don't. Not intending to pull rank here, but we're Continental Army orcs, so I don't care. I'm not concerned with your little investigative department here. We as far as rank is concerned, you have to listen to us. So pull that mask off and tell me something about our missing orc friend.
I have nothing to share about your missing orc friend. I don't know anything about him, and my mask is going to stay on.
Right, roll. I guess if you're trying to, I don't know if you're trying to intimidate or.
We'll go for that.
Yeah, roll for intimidation.
12.
Okay, hold on. I think that might do it. Do we roll against folks for that?
I think so. I've looked into it, and in the rule book, I don't think it's quite clear.
Okay.
I would help, but I don't think Arlo's 3 foot nothing is going to
All right.
be very intimidating.
You successfully intimidate the orc. He is
because I was standing there.
The orc's stance. He turns from like pressing in against you, trying to get you to take this mask off. And he says, "All right. I'm just. It's not that big a deal. We'll find him. Carry on." And they step out of your way and keep walking.
They're never going to find him.
What is that?
You say that out loud? You say that out loud?
Yeah.
Jack, do you know something about this missing orc?
Perhaps. I never caught his name, but I may have seen that orc at one time.
You seen him around here?
Was it around here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You killed him in this city.
Okay. I didn't know.
He's in your bag.
Not around here. Around there.
Just pushing like a leg deeper into the satchel.
Nope.
I like this. Keep going.
What, in passing? You saw him in passing, or did you interact with him?
It was an interaction on my part. He had not much to say on the matter.
Are you sure it was the guy we're looking for? Like, how well did you see him?
I was pretty up close. I couldn't say for certain that it's the same one that they are looking for, but I will tell you that there's one less orc in the Continental Army to worry about.
So, he's dead.
Very.
Did you kill him?
In a way.
In a way being yes or no?
It wasn't me so much who killed him. It was a friend of mine.
I would like to roll insight to see if my dude bro's lying.
Well, he's not lying.
I mean, he's not lying. Grim wouldn't know that.
I think Grim is rolling insight to... I think at the end of the day, it would be a decision whether, like, do I think I can get more information out of him, or does it... I mean... Wait, okay, go ahead, roll. I'm going to tell you what.
I got a 17. That's not something you'd roll against.
It's not.
I don't.
I thought it was persuasion.
You could no. It's insight, wisdom. It's like to determine what a character's going to do, and like I think if they're telling the truth or not. I guess you could roll deception against it.
Yeah, I think you'd have to roll against that. There's no way for me to put a difficulty class on how well
I got an 11. So
Jack takes his holds his information. So yeah, so Grim, you know there's more to what he's saying than just a friend that has killed the orc.
Do you feel like sharing more? Because I feel like there's more.
There's more to tell. You will find out in time. But that is all I feel as though I should say for now.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you are a strange and interesting character.
Thank you, Arlo. I feel the same.
All right.
You feel the same that you are a strange and interesting character?
Well, yes.
Just for reference, Jack, I'm not condemning any actions that you or your friend may have taken. I hate orcs just as much as, probably more so than the average man, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. There's one less of them in the world. They've been causing all this trouble, you know. So I think you're all right. I'm not going to say a thing. I would like to meet your friend sometime, though.
I value both of your support. We will all be acquainted eventually.
All right. By this time in the conversation, like nobody's listening to you. Like it's a big crowd. You're kind of working your way through this crowd, and it's kind of an interesting privacy that you have in a city full of people because everyone is so concerned with themselves. Everyone that passes by you in this inner district of all the wealth is so concerned with exactly what they're doing, exactly what they're wearing. They're all trying to figure themselves out. They're all very concerned with just themselves. So by this time you make it to you're standing before the inner marketplace, if that's where you intended to be going.
Thank God. That'd have been awkward if there were like 50 people standing around like, did you really just say that?
Yeah. So yeah, tell me where you were going. I don't want to. Last time you said you intended to go shopping, but I won't.
I was going to the blacksmith to get a suit of armor.
Okay.
But as we get into the thing, I would speak to Arlo, unless Arlo is just like, no, peace out.
Okay, let me do some description of the marketplace, and then we'll get right into that. So you guys cross over the city square. It's really a circle because it's the inner circle of the city. You cross over it. To your right is the constable's manor. This is where last week we'll say that Grim gave a wave to the constable way down, kind of under
200-foot wave.
He's really far away, but the constable is kind of coming out on his patio, and it's kind of a weird zoom in from his point of view to Grim, who kind of just gives him this almost knowing wave, I assume. Like, good morning, sir.
It could work out because he's just far enough away. He's like, do I know that guy?
Yeah. So you guys cross over. That's to your right. You cross over the square. There's all kind of hustle and bustle going on in the circle here. People calling out to one another, laughter. People enjoying coffee, enjoying a morning breakfast there in the square at some of the tables that are set out. You can see restaurants around with their awnings and. There are people sitting out there and having breakfast, and you cross over and you can see the inner marketplace, which is kind of a long row of, looks like concrete, these stone stalls that are permanent, that people every morning kind of back their carts up to or put their wares in, and they kind of pay for these stalls, kind of like a flea market type situation, like a really fancy version. I like that. I like it. I like getting the notice that like I'm in your head right now. I know what you're talking about. And so and going down, like you know that the lights, they're not super luminous. now in the morning because it's daylight, but at night the inner marketplace is lit with magical dancing lights that shed light on this place, and you can still see the dimness of those dancing above the inner marketplace.
So, oh no, they're constantly active. Okay.
Yeah. Also, one thing I want to point out about the people that you see, most everyone that you see in this inner district, it's very, very beautiful. Whether it's an elf, a dwarf, a man, woman,
Mirror.
they seem to be they seem to be very just visually appealing.
Where would Where would the baker's house be?
That's up to you. It depends on where you want them to live. If they are super wealthy, so it would be likely that they would be in this inner district. But it's a large district. It's not like you're
No, it was just
sit on it from here. But
I was just gonna make a joke because everybody there is really attractive, and I imagine Grim to just be plain. Just
yeah,
He's
weird.
so average.
it might make
He's
more sense
below
in a minute.
average.
No,
when
it's-
I
it's-
mention that. But
I thought Aasimar were like
but he's
yeah,
Aasimar.
yeah,
I think
Grim
he's
is Aasimar. If you think about, if you say like, oh, I'm gonna put Grim in this Aasimar box, you're gonna mess up because I've made this weird. It'll be a fun explanation as we kind of dole out the explanation about Grim, but I didn't know I'm fairly fresh at like all the DM or the Dungeons and Dragons lore, so I don't know about all the races and everything. So Zenas said I want to play Aasimar. I was like, I didn't know that exists. That race doesn't exist in my world, so we'll have to work with it. So we'll figure that out, and I think it'll be a good payoff when we figure that out. But you're in the marketplace,
Hey.
and you're heading in Grim, Arlo. Get to it.
Yeah. Arlo, I never really got to thank you properly for your assistance in the boxing match against Fatty.
Hey man, ain't nothing to it.
Well, I still feel obligated at the very least to offer some gold or perhaps an item from the market.
I don't really have need anything. If you want me to hold on to some of your gold, that's fine.
All right. So I'll give out 30 gold then
Cool.
to you. Take it.
Nice.
I take it.
Good moments. We got some jolly vibes this morning.
Jolly.
Some goodness happening.
I take 30 gold.
You take 30 gold, my man.
jolly vibe,
How
like
does
murdering
that
in the
work
night.
with Arlo?
What?
Because
Oh,
like
yeah.
being the whole druid thing, he doesn't do well with metal.
I would imagine.
It's like putting
Why don't we call it like the soft metals? Like so, gold wouldn't really affect him. Maybe
that'll work. That'll work.
you got to be
Or-
able to handle currency.
Metal's
Yeah.
like gold is like an alchemic metal, so
Yeah,
it's
that'll work.
magical
Sure.
in nature.
And more pure in thought.
Sure.
I don't know what gold thinks about all day, but
I mean,
Being
like,
shiny,
I tru-
dragging bellies.
I truly appreciate your thought to be like dead on with the metal thing. I would be hard pressed to think there's anybody out there concerned about you touching gold, but they might be. And I kudos to you. I'm pointing at the camera for our podcast listeners, and I'm pointing
All
at
of
I'm pointing at the mic for the podcast listeners. Okay, so you guys are in the marketplace. Where are you headed? What are you looking for?
Arlo doesn't really have need of anything or want of anything. He's just like a simple kind of guy.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of following these guys and seeing if they could get up to any trouble.
So Arlo's hat bobbing along behind these other two tall gentlemen.
Trey, like a classy shadow.
Okay, so Grim, you know what you want. So I guess if you wanna, you're heading straight for a blacksmith.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the inner marketplace, there's one main blacksmith. There's people who sell blacksmith wares, but there's one actual smith who does his smithing in the inner marketplace. And so you walk down and you can hear the ting of his hammer on the anvil from a distance away as you walk down the marketplace. There's not a whole lot of people hanging out by the blacksmith.
Did you say he's the only blacksmith? Or
He's-
he's the most well known?
He's the most well known, but he's the only blacksmith that actually does his work in the inner marketplace. The rest bring the wares from other areas of the city or elsewhere. But this person is the only actual forge in the marketplace, and he is well respected because his work is well respected. So you make your way down to it's kind of at the corner of one of the intersections of the marketplace, and he's posted up on a real big stall on one of the corners. You can hear the tang of the hammer hitting the anvil as you approach. This very kind and kind of simple looking orc He is behind the thing, hammering down and just really focused on his work. Not a whole lot of people looking around at him. Not a whole lot of people in the market for steel right now.
Does Grim know him?
Have you typically visit the inner marketplace?
That's why I was asking if he was the only one, because I imagine, like, Grim wouldn't be out cutting down trees, but he'd run errands for the thing, so maybe he got weapons repaired or something.
Yeah.
Not weapons, tools.
I would say the logging companies probably don't use this blacksmith. They probably use a more
but he
affordable...
knows of him?
Yeah, you know of him. You know. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation, but you know... Oh, this is... Krong is his name. His name is Krong, and you know that Krong is the blacksmith in the inner marketplace.
Okay, so then walking up... Jack, are you following?
Yeah.
Okay, I just decide that Grim is not troubled by this man, this thing being an orc.
Yeah,
so,
he is. And I don't know if we discussed orcs in this world, but
I was going to say, Arlo is kind of confused because orcs are like...
I'll mention this. Orcs, the Continental Army is an army that was manufactured by the High Council to do their bidding. It used to be each region had their own militia, but the High Council in recent years have centralized the army so that they have control of it. But orcs are manufactured, to the public knowledge, orcs are manufactured for military service. They're due to their lack of emotion and kind of bloodthirsty nature. But the public also knows that this manufacturing process can sometimes go wrong. If an orc is manufactured, he comes out of that process with too many emotions, or if he's not intelligent enough, or what have you, they just they kind of send them away. They send them away from the army, and they I forget what the word is. They discharge them from the army, and they send them off to make a life for themselves on the mainland, just like anybody else. It's fairly rare to see an orc that's not in the army, but they do exist, and you guys know that.
All right, so walking up, Grim would say to the gathered party, this blacksmith is an orc named Krong. Don't let that trouble you. He is not part of the Continental Army. He is just a blacksmith. Fairly nice, from what I hear.
Yes, he has a reputation.
So, I think we know this, though, right? I mean, we know that not all orcs are part of the army.
Yeah, but
Arlo has not ever met one, so...
Okay.
And at first, Arlo was just kind of like, I don't know about this, but being on Grim's word, he's like, all right, yeah.
Also, we just had the issue. So Grim's still a bit upset at that. Like he's still angry with those other ones. So he's like kind of keeping himself in check and being like, hey, don't freak out.
Worry not, Grim. Be cool. I know the difference between the Continental Army and your average orc.
Very good.
Well, your average orc is in the Continental Army, and your special case orc.
Special case.
Forget they're not common folk.
Mm-hmm. So you walk up to him.
Yeah.
You say anything?
Hello,
because he's kind of focused. Hello.
How does the day find you, my friend?
It is a beautiful morning.
Yes, I am inclined to agree. Listen, I'm recently hired with the LID, and I'm in need of a better suit of armor.
I can make armor.
Very good.
Krong's armor is some of the best in the inner marketplace.
That sounds good to me. I'm gonna ask for half plate, I guess.
Okay. I'm really circling in on his voice, so I'll land there eventually.
That's fine. Just for not statistic. What's the thing? Logistic purposes, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah. What? We'll handle it in character, but yeah, he had.
Okay.
What kind of armor do you want?
Nothing too bulky, nothing extremely heavy. I need to be kind of light on my feet. Also, I've just never been a fan of that. But, maybe something with plate, perhaps.
Very well.
One of the medium range armors, if you will.
I think I've got exactly what you need. And he like goes under his stall and rumbles around. You can hear he tosses his hammer down on the ground and he pulls out a thing and kind of rifles through it. You see some leather come out, and you hear the clink of some metals, and then he pulls a big chest piece that is half plate armor out, and he says, "Will this do for what you want? Light on your feet, but also can take a hit."
It will. Is that the only piece you have, or is it a full suit?
It is a full suit. I just got something for an example. Hard to hold the full suit up.
Bespoke.
Indeed. Just questioning. Yes. How much for the full suit?
Let me see. He looks at a ledger on his he's got the prices are written in really big fonts on his notebook. It's not facing you. It's just he has to flip. There's 2 things on each sheet. They're just in really big letters, and he flips up.
10 minutes later.
No. It will be
No.
85 gold pieces.
I can swing that.
Big spender. He's impressed. He flips his book back down. Also, if you're looking into his shop, he has several things displayed. He has some leather armor displayed, some studded leather armor, hide armor, kind of hanging up in the back of his shop. He's got a couple rapiers, a warhammer, battle axe, longsword, short sword, scimitar, and a trident. But the trident is displayed in kind of a, not in a case, but it looks, the trident seems to be the centerpiece of his display in the back. It's on the nicest hooks, and it's got kind of a sheen. It looks well polished, and the wood is kind of a swirled wood that goes down the handle. It looks really very beautiful.
Kind of cool.
So I hand him the gold and take the armor. I'm just gonna go ahead
Thank
and put
you.
it on right there.
Okay, so yeah, you're stepping into your armor. And,
I take off my overcoat.
okay.
I imagine that was the leather armor I had
Nothing
on.
under.
Yeah.
So I take that off and start putting on the pieces.
You know
over
shame, man.
It's Krong, wasn't it?
Krong, yeah.
Arlo wants to walk up to him and offer to shake his hand. Krong, is your name Krong, right?
Yes, my name is Krong. And he sits his giant orc hand over his stall and shakes your halfling hand.
Tiny little hand. Gnome hand. How long have you known Grim?
You're not a halfling, you're a gnome. I'm so sorry, Josh.
Very gnome. I'm a halfling in the other campaign we're playing. So.
Shoot, gosh, I need to change a lot of our descriptions that I typed. I just, for some reason, yesterday when I was uploading stuff, I said you were halfling. So I'm going to go back and change that.
Angry little gnome.
But, sorry, you're speaking to me.
Hey, Krong, how long have you known our friend Grim here?
I don't know, Grim. That your name?
Yes. Sorry, my name is Grim. It's a pleasure to meet you, Krong.
Nice to meet you.
I thought y'all might have bumped into each other or something like that.
No.
No. I see a lot of people. Don't know many.
Cool. Well, you seem like a nice guy. We're friends now, so good to meet you.
That's nice. It feels good to be a friend.
Hey.
What is Burb doing?
Burb is with you. I forgot to describe.
I thought Burb was hanging back.
Yeah, in recent episodes, Jack Law won a slave in a game of poker, essentially, and now they're following behind. Arlo is a kinku wearing kind of tattered purple robes, and he is walking behind with Arlo now because kind of Jack exchanged the ring, I believe it was that makes him a slave, but also they took the collar off.
I have the collar.
Yeah, he had an enslaving collar. So now Burb is with you by choice. He is not a slave. He is hanging around with you by choice. So Burb is kind of silently taking everything in. Every now and again, you can hear him repeat something that someone says or whatever. Like every now and again, you can hear him say, "Good morning. How you doing?" Because the way he speaks is he repeats things that he hears. So he is kind of standing beside you as you have this conversation. And Krong says, "Who is this little fellow?"
Well, this is our friend Burb. He's he's recently on his own, so we're kind of showing him around town and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Burb says, "Fee, come on, friend." Yeah, and when Burb speaks, he repeats things in the voices of the people who he heard it from. So try to imagine that if I don't pull it off so well.
He's got all these tattered clothes and stuff. Does he have any? I mean, I know he's got armor and stuff like that, but does he have just like regular robes?
Krong does not have anything like that, but there are several other vendors in the inner marketplace that you guys could visit that do have clothing.
There you go. I want to find something for Burb.
When Burb kind of tweets up, Krong reaches a hand over and gives him a pat. Says, "Nice to meet you." Yeah, he doesn't crush him or anything. before you go, can I show you something? I like to show it to everyone.
Oh,
Sure.
Unless, Jack, I don't know if
Alright.
you want to ask for anything.
Jack's kind of to the back. He's not facing towards them. He's kind of
Okay,
just
gotcha.
watching the marketplace.
He
Hands
said,
behind the back.
Krong says, you don't have to buy it, but I like to show people it's my best work. I work on it a lot. I really like the handle. Back here's my trident. Her name's Pokesy.
It's a good name for a trident.
Thank you. Alright,
Does it poke well?
About pokes through.
I've never tried it on anyone.
I never tried it.
I don't really like to hurt things. I just like to work with the metal. But I just like to show folks.
You are a true craftsman, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anything special about the trident?
It just looks real good. I imagine it pokes pretty well. It's got a nice weight to it. Other than that, it's just my pretty pokesy.
How much would you sell it for?
I would sell it for probably 30 gold pieces. I can make another one, you see, but it sure is not. I'm not trying to make you
Sounds
buy
like a
anything.
blacksmith.
I swear, I just like to show it off.
That's pretty cool.
It is impressive. Tell me, I imagine like as I dropped the hammer on the ground and changed. What can you tell me about this? What do you think of this?
His eyes get wide. He kind of reaches the hand out and like puts his hand on the handle and like feels the head of the hammer. He says, "I've never seen a hammer like this before. It looks kind of like a hammer, but also kind of like an axe. Odd.
Indeed.
That's about all I know about it. I've just seen it here.
Would you be interested in purchasing it?
Sure. I don't see why not.
Don't get rid of your epic hammer.
How much do you think it's worth?
Well, I've never seen anything like it. I don't know really the worth of the maker's brand here. I buy it for 20 gold pieces. It's right heavy. I could at least melt it down into something else.
Indeed.
Would you like to sell it to me? I mean, I've got 20. You just gave me several gold pieces. I'll give you 20 back if you'd like.
Not at the moment, no. I was just curious about the craftsmanship and if you would be willing to buy it at perhaps a later date.
Alright. What about 30? I kind of like it now.
Instead of that, why don't you just trade it to me for the trident? Trade the trident for it.
Oh, no. I can't bring myself to trade away, Pokesy.
But you said Pokesy was 30 gold.
I did.
So then, what's the problem?
Grim, people have tried to come and reason with Krong before. It's not worked for them. It won't work for you. I want to sell the trident. Don't want to trade the trident. It feels like it's worth more than a trade. I don't know anything about this hammer. I might be taking a loss.
They tried to reason, but they were unreasonable.
Sorry.
Fair enough. I'll take your 30 gold.
I am a simple orc.
Just hand him 30
He hands it to me and I'm like, I'll take Pokesy.
You're buying the trident.
Yeah.
Okay, so you really will buy Pokesy?
I will, yeah.
Alright. So he takes Pokesy off the thing and like as he brings it to you, he like pets it. He's like,
Good Pokesy. Yes.
alright girl, you need to poke someone good for us. I don't like to do it, but you need to go and really stick someone, okay? I'll miss you. And he hands the trident to you, Grim.
Thank you, Krong. Take good care of my hammer.
Now, would you... He takes the gold out of his pocket that you just gave me. He says, alright, here's your gold, 30 for the hammer.
You already paid me for the hammer.
I paid you? I thought you paid me for the trident.
No, that was the thing. He gave me the gold and I just like held it for a second and I was like, I'll take Pokesy.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's what I was trying to do.
Either way, it's just as silly.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Alright, I think we're squared up. I appreciate doing business with you.
I wish Jack was on it. How do you make any money?
You're close by, I imagine, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not paying any attention.
Okay,
at all.
gotcha.
55 off of me today.
Yeah, I profited.
So what does Pokesy do?
Pokesy is a trident. I have the weapon sheet right here.
That is all.
I mean, I have
Maybe a spear.
no. It's there are actual tridents in the game. I think
There should be.
trident.
There's somewhere.
1d6 piercing.
You.
Okay. She does 1d8.
Oh baby.
Pokesy's extra. Also, don't forget, she's extra sharp. Extra strong.
But it's versatile. So if I were to wield it with both hands, is that 1d10?
Oh, yeah.
If you wield it with both hands.
Yeah, that's what versatile
two-handed
means.
Okay.
You can hold it with one hand and deal like 1d8.
Sure.
Dope.
What's the difference? Like, you have to. Do you just have to mention that I do it with two hands, or is there some sort of penalty for it?
You can't use a shield if you do that,
Okay.
and that'll lower your AC by
Gotcha.
2.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it's just like for this attack, I will use my versatile trait. You wield it with both hands.
Sure. That's cool. I guess. Yeah. I don't mind that.
You define a net.
I'm not proficient. in
As
that.
you leave Krong, he says, "Don't forget to tell your friends when they see see my wares to tell them that it's Krong strong."
I will do.
Again, goodbye. Thank you. And so the Orc Krong waves goodbye to you. He's very pleased to to meet a new friend. But before you leave, Burb looks up to Krong and says, "Krong strong." And walks away with Arlo.
Take it easy, Chrome. Good to meet you.
Okay, where are y'all headed now? There are several more shopkeepers. There are people. A lot of people sell linens and clothings and robes in the inner marketplace. But you also know it to be a place where you can find magical items or items of interest. If that's something that y'all are interested in.
I'd like to just find something for Burb that's not a rag.
Okay. Do y'all want to
Like
have
tattered robes.
Sure. Y'all want to have these conversations as you leave the blacksmith?
Yeah, I imagine Grim is like strapping the trident to his back.
Yeah.
Strapping.
Arlo, you've never been here before, but you asked Krong for some clothing.
Yeah, is there a place where you can find simple me or Burb-shaped clothing around here?
Yeah, I believe so. And I like point off to a thing.
Yeah.
I shall
I'll
lead the
follow
way.
indication.
Okay. Burb also repeats Burb-shaped clothing. Jack, what are you doing at this point?
I'm just going to follow them.
Okay. You're just kind of taking it in and looking around the marketplace?
Yeah, I don't think I really have. Well, I'll see what's in the shops, like if there's any magic weapons or anything like that
Cool.
that catch my eye.
All right. So you guys walk to another area. There's an old woman that is kind of nearby. She is selling. You can see that she sells fabrics. There's a lot of fabrics hanging in her stall. There's clothing and robes hanging around there, and some of the robes are just absolutely gorgeous. They look well made, well sewed. They've got a lot of different designs on them and stuff. There's some good looking clothing, but they also look fairly sturdy, and she seems to have a lot of options, whether it be the very decorated down to the not so ornate. And as you pass by, she says, "Hello, little bird person."
Yup.
Not you, the bird person.
Oh.
The bird looks at her. I
you
forgot I'm the bird person. Bird looks at her. Bird looks at her and says, "Bird." And Bird turns towards this old lady who's walking over there, and she says, "You look like you need some new clothes, little one."
What does Burb say?
He just walks up. I was going to wait to see if y'all reacted to Burb separating himself from you, or...
Well, she was addressing Burb, so...
Yeah.
You have clothes for him?
Yes, I do. Ah, dang, this voice.
You're doing better than I can right now.
Yes, I do.
Alright.
Well, I could for a price.
How much? What is your price, old woman?
For little Birdman here, we'll say 10 gold just for some new robes for him. After all, you are in the inner marketplace.
I'd like to pay for it.
You want to pay for it?
Yep.
I'll pay for half.
Okay, never mind.
If you want to.
Yeah. You kind of
Burb has my money, so
Yeah, paying for half of it steals half my thunder.
okay, fine. Go for it. Go for it.
You do.
You said I'm picturing this conversation happening out loud. It doesn't matter who pays for it as long as it's paid for.
I didn't picture that happening out loud. Okay. Yeah, I'll pay for his clothing.
All right, so she takes 10 gold from you, and she. All right, now that I have your gold, what color would you like? She has you say the word.
Burb,
This is up to you.
Choose. Walk over to anyone you want.
Okay. Burb walks over to.
Flamingo pink.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
As was I.
Burb,
I was thinking one with like a big feathery boa and everything.
No,
You're just gonna look like a
they're
pimp
just
walking.
they're just little robes with hoods on them. Burb walks over and he picks out just the purest white version of the robe, but this one has a red hood that he picks out, and he goes and he points up to the wall, and there's this white robe hanging there with a red hood, but with a white inner lining of the hood, and he points and he says, "That one." And she says, "Alrighty, I'll get you that one." He pulls it down, gives it to him. Burb immediately disrobes in public. Burb says, "Master," and he pulls his robes off in the middle of the street, and he's just this naked bird person there for a second as she hands him the new robe, and he slips his new robe on. It's just crystal clean. It's just perfectly clean. That's not correct. It's just perfectly clean. He's just Burb. You've never seen Burb look quite as pleased as he looks right now, and he's just kind of almost chirping to himself and just looking down, looking at his shirt, looking at his new robe, and flipping his hood on and off, and just saying, "Burb."
Burb's looking pretty good.
I agree.
Burb says, "Burb's looking pretty good." And he says he ekes out a thank
Pretty
you
darn good.
To the lady. Says, "Oh, you're welcome. Everything for a price." It's wrong.
Wrong again.
Everything for a price.
You just look up and it's Krong with a marionette.
Yeah. Everything for a price.
You see a bunch of wigs in the back.
Didn't intend for her to be British whenever I started, but it just happened. It's like a weird switch in my brain.
There's a little tag on the inside of his thing. It says,
what is she?
Strong.
She is actually just an old human woman.
Oh.
She's got gray hair in a braid that comes down the back of her head, but it goes over her shoulder and down her front, almost down to her belly button. She's very old, but she seems well put together. She's wearing very nice robes, and she says, "If you've got any more coin, I've got some very beautiful robes I could sell you. They make you look beautiful."
Nah, I don't want to hurt anybody.
Nah. She laughs.
Do I have to roll to know what she's talking about?
No. They're literally magic robes, and now that you hear her say that, you kind of know that it's almost a rich people thing to buy these magical robes that make them look more attractive. And that's what these robes are. They're robes that when you put them on, they turn you into they make you look like a cookie cutter rich person, attractive, kind of like what you were seeing on the way through the marketplace.
I have no need for your cheap illusions, madam. Good day.
I want the top shelf stuff.
She grabs her chest and just seems very distraught that you would say something like that to her.
Don't care.
I don't need your gold anyway.
That's right now. Burb looks like he has the big chin with the cleft.
No,
in
yeah,
it.
the robes he bought are not those robes.
I was wondering.
No, yeah, he just turns into little short Hasselhoff. Anyway, so is everybody walking away, or Grim has just told this woman off?
I'm gonna go ahead and walk away on
that's,
this one.
That's a good exit.
As you leave, Burb says, "Cheap illusions, woman," and walks away and gives her a harumph as he walks off.
So it doesn't do anything for his looks, but his personality is slightly shifted.
Burb follows y'all's lead. So yeah, if all the whole time you were kind to this woman, he's happy to be kind. As soon as that tide turns, he's with you.
I seem to be missing some gold, but Bird's got some nice loafers on him.
Real quick.
Where are you getting
The
golf clubs
Trident,
from?
I think
anyway?
we've found our next giveaway item.
A bird.
I'm still waiting for the hammer. Just massive, like none of us can actually lift it.
Whenever you are walking away, Burb is in the back. Arlo, if you're back nearby him, you turn around and you notice that Burb has leaned down and stuck his hand into underneath like the tablecloth of this woman's stall, like he's reaching for something.
Bird, what are you doing?
Coin.
No, you already got coins. You don't need any more coins.
Already got coins. And he stops and goes with you.
That's their coins. You keep your coins.
They're coins. Okay, so yeah, he's with.
I forgot his master was broke all the time.
Yeah, so he stops trying to take. He rolled a nat 1 to steal.
Just reaches under the table, like explodes.
Yeah, but luckily he was
the older woman.
Luckily he was so short that she couldn't see him. It was just you that noticed him. So yeah, you guys are walking away.
I'd hate to make this just a shopping episode, but you
it is.
mentioned magic items, and Grim is all about that.
I think I'm entertained at this point, so hopefully everyone else is.
It's character development.
So as you're walking down,
Bird's
Zenas,
got some aviator glasses now.
you know that the Grim being a resident of this town and really a resident of the inner district here and probably frequenting the inner marketplace, you know that the magic item scene is a little bit less stable in the inner marketplace. There's sometimes magic weapon vendors and there's sometimes people who bring just trinkets, but it's kind of a revolving door. There's not Bill's magic swords thing. It's just whoever's there that day selling magic stuff is selling magic stuff, and there's kind of a section for that. And as you walk towards that, you hear, "Come and get some items from Phrygius. We have beautiful magical items today. Phrygius, come and get them."
I heard free items from Phrygius.
Did I say free?
You did. You
Yeah,
said free, and then you're
Free.
like, wait a minute, let me correct, and then you
Yeah.
switched. It
Some
was a
items
Phrygius.
from Phrygius.
Items that aren't free, but you'll feel free once you have them. Phrygius.
free of coin, no doubt.
Gentlemen, I am confused but intrigued. I say
dang
we
it.
go check it out.
Grim would frequent the market. Like, well, if he's passing, he wouldn't frequent it. But if he's passing through, he'll definitely like go and check out the magic items.
Mm-hmm.
So he would know that. He looks down to Arlo and says, "Don't get your hopes up, Arlo. It doesn't always pan out in your favor. But I am intrigued as well."
It has piqued my rural interest.
Indeed.
Bird says interest.
I haven't seen a stall like this. I'd like to go as well.
All right.
All right, so you guys head over to Phrygius. You see a dwarf kind of moving around on his table. He's got just one table stall, and he's on you can tell he's on a platform on the back to keep his height up above the thing. And he looks to be kind of a middle age, but he looks that he's very concerned with his appearance. He's got his beard is very well trimmed. His hair is kind of done in a very styled fashion with a lot of product, a lot of gel
Just
or whatever it
straight
is.
spikes.
Some lard that they have kind of slicked back. And he says,
The fresh
Well, hello.
morning scent of bacon.
"Well, hello, boys. Welcome to Phrygius' magic item shop. What can I do you for?"
Hello, dwarf. I assume you are Phrygius?
"I am Phrygius. That's what they call me. What's your name?"
Grim. What items do
Grim.
you have?
That's a cool name.
Thank you.
Scary, too.
Mr. Phrygius, yeah, your fella outside said you had some free stuff.
He's saying I have free things. I don't have free things.
Well, I thought I heard.
Nothing's free in the inner marketplace, boys. Nothing's free.
You have any good discounts?
But also, I cannot be held accountable for whatever my messenger says outdoors. That's the law.
Kind of, so bad.
Just looking away. It's not, but okay.
That's the law, baby boys. You want some magic items? I'll tell you what I got.
Yes, please. I've asked this question.
Okay. I apologize. I get excited when people come into my shop.
Asking for free things.
Yeah, asking for free things. All right, so he goes through some on his table. I'll just tell you on what you see on the table, and you can kind of ask about it. So you see a coin there, a fairly large coin sitting on the table. You see a ring as well sitting beside that coin, kind of equally spaced. There's a big, what looks to be like a horseshoe-looking magnet. It doesn't have like the red and gray color, but it doesn't look like a horseshoe. It looks very like a magnet. There's another ring to the right of that ring, or to the right of that magnet-looking thing, and just to the right of that is a short sword that looks very finely made, and the hilt is black, and the hand guard, what do you call that? I forget.
That is the hilt.
The hilt's also the handle. That whole thing.
Are you talking about?
It's just a guard.
Yeah, sure. That it's kind of got a its mouths kind of coming out of each other. Like at the sword. The sword goes up, and right by the sword, there's one mouth, and then coming out of that mouth is another mouth, and out of that mouth is another mouth, getting bigger until it makes that cross guard in the sword. And the sword is kind of, if you remember Bilbo Baggins' sword from The Hobbit, kind of rounded out as it comes back in a little bit.
Is it like a gladius kind of thing?
Sure. Yeah, kind of like a Roman gladiator sword thing.
Cool.
So that's what he has on the table, and he kind of, when you say "What do you got?" he just opens his arms wide and looks down at his table.
That's a freaky looking sword you have there. I'm going to ignore it for now. What do these two rings do, my man?
Very, very well. These two rings. Well, the ring on your left is what I like to call the Ring of Tracking. The owner of this ring always knows where it is.
That's it?
If you wear it, you know where it's
Other rings don't do that, my friend Grimm.
Okay.
If you don't know.
Yes,
Maybe you're not
I
into
do know,
rings.
but that is trash.
Does it have to be on your finger for the enchantment to take effect?
Good question. What's your name?
My name is Jack.
Good question, Jack. You almost caught me. But no, it doesn't. Whenever you know where it is, if you toss this ring in the lavatory and let it flow down to the river, you'll know exactly where it is.
How much is the ring?
This ring is 25 gold coins.
Will you take 20 for it?
Why should I?
Because I only have 20.
Rule persuasion.
No.
LID, this is evidence.
What'd you roll?
Oh, I rolled a 3.
Yeah, he says...
No, wait, I have persuasion.
Phrygius
4.
is rather charismatic. He says aloud, and he says, "Sorry, baby. 25 is all that will do."
Fair enough.
I don't know if maybe one of your friends
Shut up.
want to help you out.
Some extra coin I can't spend.
Yeah, I'll
Can't you
do a
spend it?
persuasion check as
Why can't
well.
you spend it?
Do what?
You said you can't spend.
Everything this merchant has is metal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I understand what you mean now.
I'll float you
I got a
5.
12.
Yeah, that'll work.
12 for what?
Persuasion to help out. Are you sure you won't take 20?
I guess I'll use his original roll, like if we're all going to this persuasion attempt to try and... So he said, Jack Law doesn't seem very convincing about that's
Wouldn't
not
I
all
just
the...
roll again because you're helping me?
I wasn't directly helping you.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it this way. So he just wasn't convinced that you didn't have more than 20 gold. He thought you were just haggling with him. So when Grimm leans over, and what do you say to him?
I just put my elbow on the table and are you sure you won't take 20 gold, my friend?
And he leans over to the table and he says, "Grimm, for you, I'll take 20.
All right.
Says, "That bald head, I can see myself in it." I like that.
There you go, Jack.
Give him 20 gold pieces
All right,
and
cool.
keep that ring.
Now what?
Go ahead.
What's this other ring do? To my
The
right?
other ring, baby, is quite a ring. I like to call this... Now get ready for your socks to be blown right off.
Arlo doesn't wear socks.
I call
the ring of
this...
sock removal.
I call this the Ring of Roundup.
Like
Want to know what it
spray?
does? Want to know what this bad boy does?
I do, yes.
It attracts butterflies.
Really?
Not only that, it allows the wielder to control one tiny insect at a time.
How much?
15.
I'll take it.
Very well. I'm making my money today.
One mosquito.
That's the coffee pot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The camera also sounds the same sometimes.
205, my friend.
Now remember, it attracts butterflies. Be careful if you're afraid of butterflies.
I like butterflies, that's why I bought it.
Okay, cool.
Mothra
Cool,
comes
my
over
man.
the
I cast no judgment.
That's what this device is for.
Yeah. Burb is also looking up at the stuff, and he kind of looks down at his own supplies, because he has a bow and arrow and a couple of little arrows on his back, very small, like a short bow. And he also has a little rusty sword that he keeps in his scabbard. He pulls it out, and Burb looks at it, and he says, because earlier Grimm said the word trash, and he called all this stuff trash, and it seemed like he didn't like it. So Burb says, trash! And he looks at his sword, and he puts it on the table.
What do you see up there that you like, Bird?
He puts it. He goes to reach for the sword that's on the table, and Frida says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, little bird man! We're not touching the merchandise unless we're buying the merchandise. Do you know what I mean?"
Well, how much is that sword?
You don't want to know what it does, but absolutely, I'll tell you what it is. That sword's going to cost you 25 gold pieces.
Cool. Now tell me what it does.
I'll tell you what it does, Arlo.
So
I don't know your name.
Back there flexing.
Yeah,
like
he is
Johnny
all-
Bravo.
Yeah, Friedrich is all about himself.
Hoo-ah!
Friedrich is absolutely all about himself. This. Let me tell you. What's your name, young man?
Arlo.
Arlo.
am a
That's
pretty
a cute
man.
name. Let me tell you what this sword is. This sword's called the Screaming Sword.
I take it.
Oh, hey. Like Soul Eater.
You'll take it.
I don't know what it does though.
Okay, so you are taking it though before.
Well, I don't know what it does. Why would I take it?
Because you just said you'd take it, baby.
Arlo
You should tell me
speaks
what it does,
in strange mannerisms.
Very well, I'll tell you what it does. This is a tiefling-made sword. They make some fine swords, them tieflings. Once you unsheath it, it inflicts 1 sonic damage on a wielder. Excuse me, it's real loud, this sword. I'll tell you the mechanics in a second. Whenever you unsheath this sword, things are gonna get real loud, and it's gonna hurt just a little bit. But whenever you stick it in somebody, it's gonna hurt them just a little bit more.
And then it gets quiet.
Mechanically, you take 1 sonic damage whenever the sword is unsheathed, and any person you hit with it.
So the wielder takes 1
Yes.
sonic damage? Oh,
yeah,
dang.
and the person you hit with it takes an extra D4 of sonic damage whenever you hit it with them. Also, there's a Reddit thread called 100 kind of low-level magical items that I would like to give credit to. I had the user written down at one point that posted it, but I don't know if he made them all. So I do want to. I'm not making these up.
You are our hero, anonymous hero.
Thunder damage is the damage for sound.
Okay,
Just throwing that out there.
gotcha.
Barb, is that the one you want?
Yes. He
You
goes
gotta
through
go
several
back.
yeses.
All the yeses he's ever heard.
Okay. He says, Burb says, got gold, buy it. And he takes out his gold and he puts the pouch of gold, like the whole pouch, on the on the table.
Nope.
Okay, so he takes it back and he says, much.
25?
Yeah, sorry. And he
25.
25 gold, little bird man. So he takes out the gold and hands it to him. And Burb says, and so when Burb grabs the sword, like everyone just hears this massive like screech, and Burb like immediately slides it into the scabbard and like with a very frightened face like straps it to his waist. And Burb looks a little bit confused and a little bit frustrated at his purchase.
Okay. Has Burb now, like, learned to mimic that sound?
Burb gained new power.
Yeah, you can kind of hear him quietly going, like, trying to do it, but not try to hurt anybody with it.
There was another item, wasn't a coin?
There was a coin,
horseshoe
as well
magnet
as, horseshoe magnet looking situation.
Okay, I don't have any money anyway, so it doesn't matter.
What do these other 2 items do?
Well, let me tell you something. This coin of certainty has done me business many times. This coin always lands on heads, baby. And he takes it and he flips it, and like the coin, there's very obviously a heads and a tail side, and it bounces, and it the first time it flops on heads, and he says, oh, "Hold on, just a second." And he flips it again, and this time it does land on tails, but like as soon as it lands on tails, it kind of does an extra bounce and lands on heads.
Can I test that?
Absolutely.
I pick it up and just like hold it an inch above the table and drop tails on the thing.
Yeah, it hits the table as tails and then
I
bounce.
like how you're holding the coin like this.
Well, he said big. I didn't know.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's not like a saucer plate. It's like a little bit bigger than 50-cent piece. Probably 2 inches across. So big fella. So you drop it, and instead of like immediately flipping like a cat would if you dropped it upside down like that, it hits the table one time and kind of almost naturally bounces to heads.
That's pretty cool.
I think it is.
I'm not much of a gambler, so I'm going to leave it there.
Certainly.
Horseshoe.
Yes, what does the horseshoe do?
Yeah, so absolutely, I'll tell you. This is what we call the Mystic Magnet. This magnet,
Spooky.
when you activate it, activates with 100 pounds of force. When you call its name, you got to say Mystic Magnet. And when he does say Mystic Magnet, like his when he does say it, it's pointing towards him. When he says Mystic Magnet, like you see it shake and then it slams into his belt loop. He says, "Ooh, Mystic Magnet," and grabs it because it turns off and puts it back on the table.
I'll give you 5 gold for it.
Oh, 5 gold won't do, my friend.
I'll give you 3.
That will do even less.
All right, 5.
I'm sorry. Roll like persuasion with disadvantage.
I'm gonna laugh if this works. All right, that's 7. That's 7.
It doesn't work. He rolled in that 20.
You drive a hard bargain, sir.
I certainly do, and you're stupid.
Hey now, I may have called this stuff trash and then bought one item, but
I'm just joshing around. None of my customers are stupid, but that was a bad way to negotiate. We can all agree, I believe.
Well,
What is
I'm
its
not one of your
actual
customers.
price?
Now am I?
About 20 gold.
I'm not going to
You
take it.
boys are high rollers. Y'all still thinking about buying things. That's all I got, boys. I ain't got nothing else left for you.
Is there anything else? Any other magic shops or no?
You've pretty much seen just about everything that this place has to offer right now. Yeah, there's the magic situation is kind of slow today.
Well, thank you for your time, Phrygius.
Yep.
Thank you for your time, Phrygius.
Absolutely, my new friend Grim. I hope you have a good time with that ring.
I certainly will. Hopefully next time you'll have different items.
And you fella with the mask, don't lose track of that ring now.
I won't.
I know you won't.
See
Also,
what you did there.
Jack
I see what
winks at him.
yeah. Also, a little bird man. See you on the flip side. I'll hear you coming with that sword.
you just barely cracks the sealant.
Okay, so you guys exit the store after exit the magic shop, which we'll say was kind of a covered. You have to go inside this one. But you are, I assume, finished shopping. You kind of seen what the market has to offer: blacksmith stuff, fabrics, etc., etc., etc.
That guy's definitely my favorite character we've encountered so far.
Yeah. Much obliged. One thing that whenever you leave the marketplace, you see. You know what? It's busy. Roll perception for me.
A whole
Good lord.
6.
That's quite a roll, Grim.
That was me.
That's quite a roll, Brice. Yeah.
I got a 24, baby.
I got a 14.
Somebody needs to check Zenas. I would say we need to check Zenas' dice, but he uses different ones, and they all seem to roll high.
Well,
Only
have
for perception,
plus
though.
7. Well, perception is plus 7.
Oh, geez.
Plus 7 already?
Mm-hmm.
How?
We talked about it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you are. You look good.
I gave
All right.
you
Yeah.
all my stats. You double checked.
No, yeah, I did. Yeah, I have to remind myself that Keith in the past is a trustworthy person, and he wouldn't have okayed it if he wasn't okay with it.
Yep.
So,
That was a different Keith. He's dead now.
all right. So,
Just a bit. On the
Grim,
inside.
you see, and what everybody else roll? I'm sorry.
14.
I got a 6. Arlo's still confused how he missed out on that sweet deal.
Yeah, Arlo. Ooh, this will be a good moment actually if this happens. It does. All right, so Burb as well as Grim and Jack, all whenever you step out of the marketplace, to your right, kind of a little bit deeper into the marketplace, you see the crowd kind of thin out a little bit, and there's not as much hustle and bustle down in that area. Not a whole lot of people walking down there, and you three see Burb, Grim, and Jack Law. Arlo, you're kind of focusing on something else right now. Maybe you're getting your money back in your pouch or whatever, and you also
Burb handles the money.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So maybe you're just kind of adjusting your hat on the way out of the canvas. We'll say that. On the way out of the thing, your hat got brushed. You're adjusting it, and the other three, they look to the right and they see down in this kind of less populated area 3 gnomes that look very similar to the way you're built, gnomes, and they're all in chains. And there are 2 very foreign-looking men who are wearing kind of brown kind of ponchos. They're a little bit tattered, and their skin is very tan and almost leathery. And they are standing there kind of with their hands on the chains in one of the stalls. And they're kind of scrawled on a sign. There's not a whole lot in this stall except for these 2 men and the 3 gnomes that are in chains. And there's kind of a haphazardly scrawled upon sign that says "Gnome slaves for sale" down there, and you 3 see that.
What is the slavery situation in this world?
Slavery is fairly antiquated, but not illegal. Some cities have outlawed it in Mediene. But Lonesome is kind of one of those last holdouts.
Grim approaches.
Sorry, let me.
It's
definitely going out of style. Very antiquated. Some regions have outlawed it. Lonesome's a holdout, but it's odd. It's definitely odd for you to see gnomes as slaves. It is typical to see. It's typical to see goblins. It's typical to see kobolds, and it's typical to see kinku like Burb as slaves. He's kind of, we would consider less intelligent races as slaves. Not so normal to see gnomes, one of the higher races of higher intelligence, as slaves. Not super normal. And
you said it's only 2 men with 3 gnomes?
2 men and 3 gnomes. And before you do anything, the Burb turns to Arlo and nudges him and points that way and says, "Come on, friend," in a kind of confused tone.
So Arlo notices now?
Oh yeah, you notice this. And Grim goes that way.
Arlo is a little bit concerned and goes running up to see what's happening here.
Okay, running?
Running.
All right, Grim, you running? What are you letting Arlo pass you? How you handle it? How are you moving? Order-wise, I guess.
Fairly quickly with determination.
Okay.
Jack is kind of surprised by the sudden upspring of movement, so he kind of tries to keep pace.
Okay, cool. So you kind of come out of the magic shop, and then the 3 of you really kind of, not into a sprint, but you guys break in and move quickly down that way into that area.
As we're going that way, Grim calls out, how far are they?
They are about 50 feet away, I guess.
Okay, yeah, he's going to call out, "Excuse me, gentlemen, with the gnomes."
Hey, what's going on down there?
They kind of lean over and they say, "We have gnomes for sale. It's on the sign."
Yes, I can see that. My question is why?
Because
how did you get them?
We enslaved them in the mountains and we brought them here. They're just slaves.
And what gives you the right, pray tell, my good man?
Slavery's not illegal, my boy. They're slaves. We captured them. We made them our slaves. That's how it works.
How much you selling my people for? My people for...
Oh, none of our gnomes look as strong as you, little one. We're selling them for about 300 gold pieces apiece. I don't think any of you have that kind of money.
We don't.
You'd be a bit surprised. But tell me this, why don't you sell them for nothing?
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not trying to persuade. He's just doing a gesture.
Not the deal you're looking for.
Says, "I don't make any money if I sell them for nothing."
Yeah, that's the point. You're not going to make money on this deal, my friend.
All right. With that comment, with Grimm's comment against the slaver, we will end this episode.
Boom.
Will the party rescue the slaves? Will something else happen? Who knows?
Tune in next week.
So thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Josh, did you want to do a recap thing as Arlo? We might be doing a segment at the end in the future, but we're getting over some sicknesses here now. But thank you so much for listening or watching this show. Listening to or watching this show. We really appreciate it. We have a good time making it. Again, we are on, hopefully by now we're on iTunes. Certainly, I would assume by now we're on iTunes as Dungeon Boys. We're on YouTube at Tank Media Games. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Tank Media Games. Remember, if you do want to support us on Patreon, that is patreon.com/tankmedianetwork. Patreon.com/tankmedianetwork. We have a lot of Tank Media prefixes in this situation as well. If you're to listen this far, please be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. That really helps get us up on the charts. If we can get more viewers, more listeners, we can do better work for you in the future. So again, thank you for all the things. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and we love you very much.